I was incorrect. And looking at the YouTube video trail, this is the actual episode 12. Or, as Finn has said, episode 12 part 2. So, last time on Desert Winds, the party, what did you guys do? I know that you were, oh jeez. I know that you guys were given the letter.
Yes, we were given the letter. I got, Finn just completely pass out drunk. Quirk went off to the library, and Stryker and I were supposed to go see the Pasha. But, obviously, since Anne can't make it this evening...
Right.
There will be some interesting shenanigans there.
That's right. You guys went to go interrogate Mular Manad as well to figure out who hired him to set all of this plot in motion. And Quirk berated him for being an idiot because he was his own fall guy. That's what happened last week.
Yes. Excellent roleplay on that. And personally, I think he deserves inspiration this week for it.
Go ahead.
2 cents out there.
Yeah, actually, it was awesome. So, Quirk, go ahead and mark down an inspiration die.
Okay. How do I do that? Since
on your character sheet, in the upper right-hand corner, I believe it is, there's a bubble where you can just check inspiration. It says INSP.
Yeah, it's right next to
I already have some. I already have some from before.
Okay, well then.
Never mind that. I retract my statement. Shame on you.
So does that mean that I get to use it twice now?
No, actually. You can only have one inspiration die at a time.
Alright, so I've got to make sure to start using that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alright. So, morning comes, and I apologize, I've got DQ Blizzard that I'm still nomming as we go here.
Now I'm jealous.
Yeah, you should be.
So that was that noise, okay.
Yeah, that's what that was. That's me crunching on my chocolate truffle blizzard, or caramel truffle blizzard. So anyway, as morning comes, same fare as has been happening the last couple mornings.
When we left off, we were...
you two were walking off to...
We were walking to the palace.
Okay, I apologize. I've slept since then.
I didn't confused there.
I didn't rewatch the episode like I normally do prior to playing. So, all right. So you guys were walking off towards the palace. Was it just you and Stryker?
Yes. And on the way, I was going to see if there was a what are they called?
An alchemist shop?
Yes. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Thank you for posting it into Skype, so I knew what you were talking about.
Yes, I just couldn't remember the word.
I
blame the fact that I am a wood elf and not very used to common.
High or low?
We'll go low.
There is not an alchemy shop on the way.
Okay. That sucks.
Ooh.
So I say to Stryker, as we get in sight of the palace, I tell her to just go hidden and let me go do all the talking.
Okay.
And we'll just say I lose track of her as well.
Yeah, she pulls up her hood and everything. And pretty soon you see her for a bit. She goes running ahead of you. And very quickly you lose her in the crowd. There is also something that I need to show you since I got the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide recently here, I can show you pictures of Calamshites.
Excellent.
Ta-da! Calashites.
Still loading.
So this is what
Loading.
this is what your typical Kalashite looks like, though. Very, very Middle Eastern in garb. Very fancy dress for the upper echelons, but even the lower class people try to dress outside their station so that they can avoid the spurn of those that are the upper classes. So you see her pushing into the crowd of Kalashites, and your eyes are scanning, trying to stay fixed on her, and she just disappears at that point. Which is kind of bad news for you, because she was the one that knew where you guys were going to get to the Pasha's palace, but
It's
you
the
can
palace.
see it up on the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the palace. You can see it up on the hill, and there's also signs that say Palace Ward this way, to the palace as you start getting closer there. Once you arrive at the palace, there are guards standing at the gate, and they look at you and kind of nod a little bit. State your business. They cross halberds in front of the gate as you approach. Standard protocol for anybody that approaches.
I have been summoned by the Pasha. I am a member of the General's Ire.
And they look at you, and then look one to the other. And do you have any proof of this?
I hand him the letter.
Okay. They read the letter. Do you also hand them the letter, the letter of marque? The one that the Pasha had given, saying, "Treat these people as you would treat me."
Oh, not yet. I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see if they're going to treat me like a decent human being first.
Yeah, with this letter, they do still nod. Fold the letter back up, hand it back to you, or roll it, and then hand it back to you. And they raise their halberds, and the guard on your right, as you're looking at him, opens up the gate, pulls the gate outward, and the one on the left motions for you to walk in.
Okay, as he does, I put my foot out so that the door stops, so it's not all the way open. And I go, "I thank you for your kindness, but isn't it normal to ask someone for identification of themselves as well?"
He...
And I that's when I hand over the other letter.
Yeah, he looks at you a bit dumbfounded.
I do not wish to be rude, but I do not want you to get in trouble for not doing your due diligence.
He nods. Typically, these letters are hand delivered by couriers, and since our courier came back alive, the one that delivered this particular letter came back alive, we assume that it made it to the proper party.
Yes, but when you make an assumption, you make an ass of you and Umption. I don't know who Umption is, but I know I don't like being made an ass. You don't want your boss coming down on you for something simple.
Be on your way. We've got other things to attend to. And so he ushers you in quite rapidly.
I make sure that I take the both letters back as I go in.
Yeah, you get them, and you get up to the palace proper. There's a small path with like hedgerows running up it, and as you look off to the sides, there's for being a desert, this place actually has quite a bit of garden shrubbery, hedges. It's got quite a fair amount of plants that you wouldn't find native to Kalimshan.
Quite an impressive use of water.
Um, as you get up to the actual palace proper, there's another set of guards. You show them the letter from the Grand Vizier, and one of those guards breaks off from the door and actually escorts you up into a boardroom. Plush seats surround a table. That is mahogany! In the interior of the room are several potted native desert plants. Curtained windows overlook a courtyard with a small oasis in the center. Various birds and assorted wildlife take refuge there. The guard looks to you, and is Stryker with you now?
She should be well hidden at this point.
Okay.
Like you said, I lost track of her.
Okay, so I'll figure out what she's doing at some point later here. So you are escorted into this boardroom of sorts, and the guard says, "Wait here, the Grand Vizier will be right with you." And he closes the door behind him, and he, you can assume, runs off to go get the Grand Vizier. After several minutes, probably about 5-10 minutes, the Grand Vizier enters the room, closely followed by a harem girl, and he takes his seat while she continues to stand in the corner, hands crossed at the wrist in front of her. And the Grand Vizier, you can actually see his face. He looks a little bit puzzled. I apologize. I was expecting more of you.
We figured if this was a time-sensitive matter, then the sooner we could meet, the better. And this was the most efficient way for us to do so. I am still standing, by the way.
Okay. He nods at you. Very well then. I want to thank you for joining me here today. I understand that your group, and he looks again, still confused. While you weren't one of the original group that I remember seeing, I understand that your group has been doing some excellent work for the city, and I want you to know it isn't going unnoticed.
Many thanks.
I know you probably tire of doing the work of the city, but the Vizier's Council has an important task for you. It's come to our attention that the world of Toril is dying. The reason we are here, in private, is because we didn't want to alarm the Pasha until we can get more concrete evidence.
It's understandable.
So he continues on. It is rumored that Toril is a machine. How or why, we don't really know. But legends tell that this machine was run on the power derived from crystals. These crystals, as we understand, are called the life stones. The life and death crystals power all life on Toril. Air, earth, forest, and water crystals contain the magic the gods used to create those habitats. But as I understand it, the gods ordered the life stones removed 2 millennia ago, and now Toril's magical energy is running out.
And you're sure that it was the gods that had them removed?
Every story that I've ever read relating to Toril being a machine have pointed towards the gods having these stones removed. It was, as far as I've found, it was supposed to be a test for the races of Faerun. If they could not solve this puzzle and return Toril back to its pre-removed state, of course, all life here would be wiped out. If, however, they do manage to return the stones back to the machine, they are worthy of continuing their lives here.
Is there any information on where the stones were removed to? A riddle, perhaps.
Not that we have found, but each of the stones has its own purpose. It's likely that the stones were returned to their original habitats, or near their original habitats. We believe that the first stone can be found in a swamp near here. We've been getting reports of an ominous dark energy. Please bear with me while I pull up this image real quick. Let's see, you guys are in Kalimshan. Alright. Did you guys see that image?
No.
Sure. I'm trying to share this image and it's not. Share sheet. There we go.
There we go.
I marked on there a blue circle near Kalimshan.
Okay. Let me do a little zoom in here so I can better see. Oh, the spider swamp.
The spider swamp. Yep.
That
Oops.
sounds so cuddly.
So the Grand Vizier continues on, basically telling you that there have been some strange reports coming out of the spider swamp, especially here recently. There have been reports of merchants that have had to go, the merchant route from Monshaka there all the way towards Almaraven and so on. The people that are using that road going by the Forest of Mir and the Spider Swamp have been getting attacked more frequently, where before it used to be a pretty peaceful route, well secured by the people of the forest. And now they're being attacked by strange beasts, and they think it has something to do with this life stone and the fact that Toril is dying.
Very well. Do you know how many of these life and death stones there are?
He corrects you. They're simply called the life stones. However, there are... Picture is too big now. There are... I've got them all right here. There's 5.
5 stones.
He nods. What we would ask of you is to get these stones and return them back here to us at the palace. We will then have our staff mages return these stones to the machine once we can figure out how to get to it, and we will oversee the deployment of these stones.
If I may ask, while we are on our journey, would it be possible for some of your scribes or researchers to continue looking into the possible locations, so that way we can go from stone to stone as quickly as possible?
I assure you, my scribes and researchers have already been working to try and find these locations. However, it is said in the texts that we have found that the last priest of the order that protected the stones took them on a walkabout around Faerun and delivered each stone in a location that only he knew. He left no record of where he placed these stones. Not even the priests of the order that protect the stones now know where these stones lie.
And if the world is dying, why has this order not stepped forward to prevent that?
As I said earlier, the ancient texts point to the gods having these stones removed as a test for the people of Faerun. If they find these stones and replace them in the machine, they are worthy to continue living. If they do not, they are not. And Toril will suffer its fate.
Then either the individuals of this order are not members of Toril, meaning they came from one of the planes, or they do not wish to see their own world continue living. Very well. We shall have to take them into account as possible adversaries for now.
He nods. Again, I trust that you will handle this with the utmost discretion.
Of course.
Report back here as soon as you either find the first stone or know anything more. And he motions to you, kind of bowing his head just a little bit. The letter that got you in will continue to do so.
Many thanks.
He stands and he motions to the harem girl that's standing in the corner, and she follows behind him, and both of them leave, and he closes the door again behind him.
Well, I was going to roll an insight check on him, but he left, so I can't do that now.
I'll let you retroactively roll an insight check on him.
No, it's okay. It's my fault for not saying so earlier. I will suck it up because it was my fault.
Um. Okay, so
Although I do find it odd that he had a harem girl in there.
so let's see. After he leaves, like a minute or so later, one of the guards shows up, different guard than the one that led you in the first time, and actually escorts you back out.
Okay. And I start making my way back towards the Jewel of the Sands.
Okay.
And
You meet up with Stryker, like, she shows up not too far outside the gates of the palace. She, kind of holds her hands out and, like, she smiles real big. Well, that went well, huh?
I'm keeping a straight face and I'm like, I'm not too sure about this.
Well, if what the Vizier said is true, then we're all in terrible danger.
Oh, and
But
I'm certain that he at least believes it is true. However, I'm not sure that I can trust he will do what is right by the stones. Not yet, at least.
She nods.
We're still,
Something-
while this whole conversation is going on, we're still making our way back.
Right. Yeah. She falls into step with you as soon as you reach her, and yeah, you guys are continuing on your way while you're talking. Roll a perception check for me, and I will roll one for Stryker as well.
I notice my feet. Actually, that kind of makes sense. I think. Hold on, let me.
That makes sense because you're looking down at Stryker. She's short.
Well, also, my personality trait is that I often get lost in my own thoughts and contemplation, becoming oblivious to my surroundings. So, this would be one of those times.
Okay. You still, though, you're lost in thought. You're talking to Stryker, but you happen to look up, and you see another person in the dark brown robes holding the sign, "The end is nigh," in every language, and he's again passing the he's following the sign as people are walking by.
I walk up to him. I bend over so that my mouth is like right next to his ear. And quietly, and I don't know if you want me to make a stealth check on this, but I figure everybody else is minding their own business.
I mean, you're in a busy city street, so it's going to be hard for them to hear unless they're actively trying to listen in.
Yeah. But I say to him, if you are of the order, please meet us this evening at the Jewel of the Sands. We have things we must discuss. And I walk on. And knowing that he's going to disappear.
And he does. You look over your shoulder again, and he has completely vanished, without a trace. So you, you continue on towards the Jewel of the Sands. After about 2 hours walk, you return back. Finn and Quirk, what have you guys been doing during this time?
I went to do research.
That's right. Go ahead and make a couple of investigation rolls.
Okay.
And you can also roll 2 Arcana checks as well.
Okay. So, investigation. And how many investigations am I doing?
One more. Okay.
Nice.
And then 2 Arcana.
Ouch.
Okay, so with your investigation checks, you are able to find the text that you had recalled yesterday, where you were like, Torgal's a machine. I remember reading it. You are able to find that book in the largest library within Calimport.
Okay.
While they won't let you check it out, you are able to rescribe what it says during this time. Transfer it into like one of your journals.
Okay.
And basically take a copy of it so that you can bring it back to the group. Unfortunately, you're still not sure the veracity of this book. You don't know whether or not it is actually true.
Okay.
But this text that you found is pretty ancient. Probably at least 1,000 years old.
Okay. Could I do an insight check? To see if the way that it's written suggests that the author is of sound mind.
I'll allow it. The author seems to be of sound mind, but it still doesn't give any direction as to this is conclusively true or this is conclusively false. It's middle of the road.
Okay. I'm guessing most of the information that I found is essentially what you just told.
Drawn. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there information on the stones?
Is there information on the stones? I had images in Roll20 and I don't think they got moved back over, but I should be able to fix that real quick. Yes, you can, with a lot more searching, you're able to find another text that mentions the life stones. And specifically, it mentions kind of what you're looking for, like what they actually look like.
Okay. Are they elemental in nature?
What do you mean by elemental?
Like, so there's 5 of them, right?
There's 5 of them, correct.
Is that like earth, wind, water, fire, or is it a different set of 5 things?
It is elemental, so earth, wind, water, fire. Let's see. Hold on. I have all of this stuff written down. So, yeah, air, earth, forest, water, and then there's the 5th crystal is the crystal of life and death.
Okay.
And it is said that the crystal of life and death is the one that, brought all of the races of Faerun to life, and when they die, their energy gets, in theory, it's supposed to get reabsorbed back into that stone for later use. Again, when, a new person is born. And then, similar to the forest, the swamps, all of that, each stone, each of those stones created those biomes.
Okay. So it's air, earth, fire, water, life and death? No. Air, earth, fire, forest, life and death.
Air, earth. Okay, yeah, I'm missing fire. So there are actually 6 stones.
Air, earth, fire, water, forest, life and death?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, since it's making a claim of a reincarnation method, I'm going to go to the proof of veracity on that, and I'm going to look up the birth and death records.
Okay.
See if the population has been steadily increasing or not.
Okay. Go ahead and roll another investigation check.
Okay. Oh, wait a sec. That's not a check. That was just a... Alright. Investigation. There we go.
Wow.
There we go.
Best use of a fudged roll ever. It looks like the population has very slowly been declining over the last probably about 500 years.
Would you like a list of everyone's names? With a natural 20. Holy shit.
So, that lends support to there actually being a reincarnation method going on.
It sure does. That it does. And for some reason I can't get this image to... Oh, that's why. D&D, campaigns, Desert Winds.
Sorry, folks at home, just a little technical issue.
Why is this not importing? This should be... I should just be able to drag and drop this image in, and you guys should be able to see it. And I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not coming in. I've done it before. I've just drug and dropped stuff in, and it worked perfect. Okay, well, I will figure it out for later. Figure out why it's not importing. But I do have pictures of the crystals.
Okay. Is there any suggestion as to the location of the original chamber that the crystals were in?
The text that you found suggests that it's buried very deep within the Underdark.
Okay.
It was built in such a location so that most people would not, average people would not be able to get to this chamber where this mechanism is held. And as the years have gone past, stories of this place even existing have fallen out of favor. They've dropped by the wayside as pure conjecture and a fool's errand to even try to find it.
Okay. All right. So with the birth and death records, does it list cause of death?
These records would list cause of death.
Okay. So I'm particularly interested in the most common causes of death in California. In the last 10 years.
The most popular range everywhere from natural causes to assassination. I mean, they run the gamut, really. Such that you're not able to discern a pattern of the deaths being supernatural or the like.
Okay. Okay.
And players, if you check Skype, I dropped the images of the stones there, at least so you can get an idea. So, Quirk, when you come back together, you've got a description of the stones for the other players.
And for everybody watching, if you check out the YouTube channel, I'll make sure that they get, or at least if you check out my YouTube channel, I can guarantee it. But I will make sure that they get put into the recording as well. I can't pull them up for the broadcast, unfortunately.
Okay, so I'm guessing that so there's only 3 in there, right?
Yes, because the others look similar to that, but their colors may vary. Like okay. the life and death stone is actually like a deep black crystal.
So then is this fire, ice, and forest?
Yeah, the red one is fire. The that one in the center is like air.
Air.
And then forest.
Okay.
But the life and death crystal looks a lot like the fire, except that it is pure black.
Okay. Alright. So... Alright. I'd like to do a bit of research into recent elections, particularly in what was the one that Khalid was from?
The Grand Ward.
Grand Ward. So I'd like to do some research into past elections there, as well as the requirements to run for office.
Okay. Go ahead and roll another investigation check. You're able to find the requirements to run for office, as that would be public knowledge. You were looking for the results of the last how long as well?
So basically, elections over the past 5 to 10 years, basically what the platform the candidates were running on in that time was.
Okay. You're able to find the requirements to run. You're able to find the past candidates who got elected, what their platforms were. Looking at Memon Khalid, he brought to platform basically the fact that he was going to make the Grand Ward grand once again because of his business acumen. Similar to Donald Trump, but not a douchebag.
Okay.
Because he is a strong businessman, he knows the way that commerce flows in and out of, particularly the Grand Ward, but also the other wards as well. And so he was very charismatic as well. The people liked him, which, you know, is the case for most politicians. They're typically very charismatic. But there was a genuineness to Khalid that lent itself to respect and credibility. And prior to him being possessed, or not possessed, but by having his form assumed by the Death Slod, there was no reason that he wouldn't have continued winning the elections until he actually died. He was doing a very good job.
All right.
For several other of the politicians, I mean, you find things that are, you know, we are going to bolster the safety of this ward. And no, Khalid did not have a toupee.
That was just a color comment between me and Finn. We're not even there.
Okay, so what then are the requirements to run for office?
Have to be a resident of Calimport for at least 10 years. Um, you have to not be in debt of any sort. Um, you had to be elected basically by your peers. They ran a pre-election essentially, and the top people that come out of these caucuses then get put onto the larger ward ballot.
Okay, so then there are parties.
Right.
Okay. How many parties are there in that work in the Grand Ward?
In the Grand Ward, you see as many as 5 parties.
5 parties, okay. All right. Would I be able to find any information on what is likely to come of Khalid's business? Like, would it be inherited, or is it likely to be sold off?
There are successors to his line, so it is likely to be inherited.
Okay. All right. Who is his heir? That be in any of the records, or?
Yeah, you could probably find that in a birth and death record. Like his obituary basically would list next of kin.
Okay. So do I need to roll an investigation check on that, or?
I'm going to let that one slide, no.
Okay.
Because, again, it's public knowledge, and given enough time, you would be able to find that stuff.
That and the roll for that particular, the birth and death records was a natural 20, so...
Okay.
Yep.
So then, I think that is sufficient information. I will return to the group with my information.
Okay. Alright, Finn, what are you doing during this time? There I go speaking Draconic again.
Snoring very loudly, mumbling, Atala, come on, baby, come back. That's literally all I'm doing. I'm like passed out drunk, dreaming.
Okay, so you're sleeping it off. Alright.
Oh yeah. I'm so he got me hammered.
You are right in the middle of probably the best dream that you've ever had about Atala. When you hear very loudly a knocking on your door.
I'm like,
You hear a loud thud from outside the door ajar as Finn falls onto the floor from his bed.
Well, I took the key with me, and he's in my room, so...
That's true.
I unlock the door and walk on in.
Okay. There's still a part of me that thinks that you're just a little bit sadistic and knocked on the door prior to entering, just to get that reaction.
Not necessarily sadistic, but I wanted to warn him that I was coming in case he was, I don't know, using the chamber pot.
Gotcha.
I guess I get up, look at him through my hazed eyes, and like noticing it's not her, I go back to sleep.
You may want to get up. We need to get you sober, and we have things we need to talk about.
I give like a big huff. I reach around. Is there water anywhere?
There was one of the barmaids left a small pitcher and a glass filled with water.
Okay. And then there's a chamber pot there, right?
Yeah.
Actually, no. I'll open the window, hold a glass of water, and just like dump the whole glass of water on my head,
Okay.
and then turn back around to kind of like wake up.
Okay. Um.
And then look at, I guess, a drawn information. What information? Like rubbing my tempo.
Just come on. Let's get some food in you, and we'll talk when Cork gets here.
Okay. I'm assuming that means you're leading me downstairs or something? Or
Yes.
upstate? Okay.
I am slowly leading you downstairs.
Begrudgingly, I follow, I guess.
Okay. So once you guys get downstairs, yeah, I mean it's early afternoon. By this point, Atala is starting to serve out lunch.
I avoid eye contact.
She does likewise.
And I actually go up to the bar, and I go, Atola, when our feathery friend gets here, you may want to join us at the table. We have some things to talk about, and I would like to hear your opinion on them.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
When our feathery friend gets back, we have some things that we need to discuss, and I would like to have your input on them, if you wouldn't mind joining us for a little bit.
She nods. Very well. I'll have him join you, and I'll pull you into our conference room. She gives kind of a smug grin and a nod as she says conference room.
Thank you very much. At that point, I sit down to get some lunch.
Okay. Yeah, she has lunch delivered to your table. You know, and I mean, it comes pretty quick because she has like plate lunches basically set up.
Nice.
And not too long after you've arrived back at Drawn, Quirk comes walking in.
Feather friend. I'm too engrossed in just eating.
Hello!
Hello. We have an interesting development.
Oh, what's that?
Yes. In a little while, Atola is going to take us into her conference room, and we shall discuss it there.
I choke on a piece of meat when you say that.
I him suspiciously and continue eating.
Alright. After you guys finish eating, Atala looks to you, Adron, and kind of raises her eyebrows, like, are you ready to go now, or...
I immediately stand up and I pull Finn up with me. Quark, we need to go.
She,
Okay.
she jerks her head, towards the staff entrance kitchen door.
And I'm actually going to let Stryker lead the way, because you said she rejoined me, so...
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And, okay, so Stryker actually... She nods to Atala as well and leads you guys into the kitchen, and immediately coming into the kitchen, she opens up what looks like a pantry door there, and she reaches inside the pantry to one of the walls and just slides her hand down the wall, and you see that pantry, the actual pantry and goods that are on the pantry like fall away, and there's stone stairs that lead down into a basement. Now, as Quinn, you've actually visited this cellar before.
Yeah.
Finn has not, however. But yeah, there's stone stairs leading down. Once you get down into there, it's a fairly large room, and it looks almost like a military planning center. She's got a map of Calimport set up with various push pins and things in the map with, kind of what's been going on in the areas. She's got job boards set up of various contracts that are in play currently and things like that.
I'm taking it all in, and a thought occurs to me, but I'll keep it to myself for now.
Okay, so Atala, she offers places for you guys to sit. There's chairs around this huge battle map, and she looks to you, Adron, and says, "So, you had things that you'd like to discuss with me?"
So as everybody here knows, Stryker and I went to speak with the Pasha today. We didn't speak directly with the Pasha, instead we spoke with the Vizier. And, he told us some rather disturbing news. But before I get to that, I need to know, Atola, what do you make of the Vizier?
She says she really hasn't had many dealings with the Vizier, but he was elected into, or not elected into his position, but he was appointed into his position some time ago. Go ahead.
Has he done anything in his time in office that would make you believe that he is doing things for his own power?
She says, I don't know that he's been doing things per se, but, excuse me, here comes a sneeze. She says, I don't know that he's been doing things for himself per se, but I've noticed over the last probably 2 years that things that the Pasha normally cared about and took care of, he's been more lax on lately. I don't know if that's as a result of the Vizier's influence or not.
Okay. Well, when we spoke to the Vizier, he told us that him and his... The way he put it made me believe that he has a little group of his own. And that they believed that Toril was dying because some stones from that essentially powered the world were removed by the gods. And that it was tasked with to all of the peoples of Toril to find these stones and replace them in order to keep the world alive.
And they've been sleeping on the job.
Well, that and apparently there was some sort of order that was hiding these stones, protecting them. But he told me that he did not tell the Pasha this in order to not worry the Pasha, which struck me as odd, as the Vizier's job is normally to advise, not to make decisions on his own. But at the same token, I don't know the Pasha. I have not yet met him directly. So I don't know. Perhaps is the Pasha getting on in years? Perhaps.
The Atala kind of laughs a little bit. The Pasha is a bit eccentric, to say the least. He's a bit aloof, I guess. Maybe not the most capable man for the position, but he has a good heart.
Yes, but still, something like this should have been brought to the Pasha's attention. Judging from what I see around this room, you seem to have a pretty good finger on the pulse of Cullen.
Picture incoming. I figured out how to get my pictures in.
Ah, there we go.
Cool.
And now the people at home can see them.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll keep doing this. So say again. He should have been informed.
Yeah, the Pasha should have been informed, and I told Tola that, judging from what I see around the room, she has a pretty good finger on the pulse of Calimport.
And she does. She nods and says, "Yes, I do." It's my business. It's how I've survived here for as long as I have. And she looks to Stryker and says, and it's how she's survived here for as long as she has as well.
Well, I do believe that currently the Grand Ward is without leadership. Perhaps you might be able to nudge things so that somebody who is capable and beneficial for the city would be placed into that vacant position.
I wouldn't go for that right away.
Why would you say that?
Well, we've already ran into a series of assassinations, and even though that guy thinks that he did it all on his own, I mean, if you're that stupid, you're easy to manipulate. So, I think he's probably been manipulated into thinking that he did his own dirty work when he actually did someone else's. And that means that there's someone playing a very deadly game. And that means that we need to put forward a piece and be prepared to lose that piece.
Very interesting way of putting it.
Quirk, in the back of your mind, the piece that you think of is that halfling in the slave wards.
Yep, already had intentions on that.
No. Did you say that out loud?
I have a good candidate.
A good candidate?
Yeah. Someone who I don't think we'd be too concerned about losing, but if he actually manages to make it through, could be influenced easily enough to actually make him a good person.
Oh. Okay, who do you have in mind?
Thurbin Bramblefoot.
That guy.
The halfling we met this morning.
Yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
Yes.
Well, if he does decide to be as corrupt as he has shown capable of, I would not have a problem removing him.
At the same time, he's only making use of that corruption because he feels like he can't actually make headway. If we show him that he can, he's likely to turn around.
I cannot say that this is the greatest of ideas, but I have no other alternatives.
Also, he's been here long enough to be able to run. Otherwise, I was thinking I might run, but I haven't been here long.
we are going to need you with us. Your inquisitive nature could actually be of greater benefit to us than running a city.
Okay. Also, at the same time, there's another candidate that we might want to look into. There's an heir to, Khalid's heir. They're going to inherit his business, and his business is actually the main thing that actually got him elected.
Possible. They would have been influenced by Khalid himself. This is also a possibility, but that is a decision that I believe Mr. Tola will have to make as to who would be better for the city and is willing to be risked.
Whoever it is, I think we need to put our public backing behind them in order to flesh out the people who have actually been, who threatened us. I mean, they see us as the players, so we need to make a move.
If they see us as players, let them move against us. We are on a completely different task. They'll be wasting their resources.
Right, but it's our move. See, we took out a piece that they were using. Then they came and they attacked us, and we managed to thwart that attack. Which means that it's now our move.
Agreed. But at the same time, we want to draw their fire away from what is going on, not focus it on our pieces in the city. We want to protect the city.
But we don't know where else they're focused. But we do know that they're focused on the politics in the city. So, if we can get them to look at the piece that we're putting forward but not actually intending to put in place, then we can draw fire for them while also putting forward a real candidate that can actually do good.
She looks at you, Quirk, and says, "And by real candidate, do you mean Thurbin Bramblefoot?"
No, he's the one who's going to draw the fire.
Because you can see, you can see the Charlie Brown look of good grief written across her face when she asked the question about Thurbin Bramblefoot. And she nods when you say no. I think right now, he would be good to draw the fire. But given the change in his environment, I think he might actually be good for the Grand Ward. It would take some time, mind you, but I think he could actually be a good official candidate for the Grand Ward.
Which is what makes him the best sort of person to put forward now. Because as long as we can keep him protected, and we'll actually have a reason to protect him, he'll be good later on.
And Adron is just sitting there with a completely dumbfounded look on his face.
So,
Atala looks to you, Adron. Your thoughts?
My thought is, he has already shown a proclivity to give in to corruption. This is not my city. I cannot make this call, but I would not trust him as far as I could throw him myself.
And she chuckles, and you could probably throw him pretty far.
Undoubtedly.
so thing is that that's going to work in our favor, because the likely action that anyone is going to take is to try to corrupt him. And since he is already corruptible, we just need to look at who's trying to corrupt him.
I cannot argue with that logic.
Adron, make an insight check for me, please.
Do you want me to make it in the tower, or...?
Yeah, in the tower, please. You've got the feeling that Bramblefoot is a product of his environment. He used to be better than he was, but he fell into gambling, and he made some bad business choices in the past, bad personal and business choices in the past, and has now found himself in the slave wards, working and trying to pay off his debt, but getting nowhere because that particular system is corrupt.
Yeah, Adron's personal...
And so he's officially given up hope that he's ever going to get out of the slave wards, and as such, he's turned very bitter and sour.
Yeah, but Adron sees it as... Yeah, he's been dealt a bad hand. Yeah, he's made some decisions that didn't go the way he wanted them to. But then he turned around and took out his frustrations on the people around him instead of learning from those mistakes and, you know, continuing on. It's not that Adron bears him ill will, it's that he's not sure that essentially handing him this on a silver platter is the best of ideas. And it's not
that makes sense.
It's not that he's against the idea of having him be the target. He's against the idea of rewarding him for negative choices that he is currently making. Rewarding negative behavior, as it were.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, regardless of who we put forward, as a group, or as the generals ire, our focus is to be on these stones of power. So, the vizier did say that there was one rumored to possibly be in the spider swamp.
Oh, did he say which one?
No, he did not. Just that one may be there because, based off of the fact that many of the merchants and such were we're being attacked on what is normally a very safe road. So it is someplace that we should start looking. Um,
Okay.
but
Um. So based on my research, it should create the area attuned to its element around it.
well, it is a swamp, so would that be? Could that either be what water?
Well, I noticed that the swamp is across the street from a big forest.
There is a what a life stone that is attuned. Well, I mean, if it is a life stone, perhaps it is attuned to life and is giving life to everything.
So there is a forest stone.
Oh,
My theory is that this might be the forest stone.
it is a possibility. I did not realize that. When you said element, I was thinking, earth, fire, wind, water.
Yes, there is earth, fire, wind, water, forest, life, and death.
Okay.
Yes.
So, are there separate stones for life and death, or just one that is both?
It is one that is life and death, and it's the only one that I have actually got some proof that supports its existence.
And what proof would this be?
Atala seconds that question.
The life and death stone, as described, is a repository for a reincarnation cycle. In most cases, reincarnation is proven clearly false by a rising population. If you're reincarnating, then you shouldn't be able to increase your population. But in this case, the population has been steadily decreasing, along with the concept that it's running down on power.
Hmm. Well, that does also call into question all of the clerics in the temples that claim to have knowledge of an afterlife. And all of the individuals that have been resurrected talking about it as well. Granted, it is quite expensive, so it does not happen very often.
Well, yeah, but you could have an afterlife that is actually contained inside a microplane within a crystal.
Now you're just talking over my head.
Atala puts her hand on her chin, and she looks like she's lost deep in thought now. Does anybody here have telepathy?
Nope.
Nope.
Finn, no telepathy?
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, she's lost deep in thought now.
So, basically the fact that, we do have a declining population means that there is evidence that supports that there could be a cycle that is winding down.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow, but it's it is something I will have to meditate on.
Okay, so you said that there are people who have been hiding the crystals?
Yes, as Stryker and I were coming back from the palace, we saw another individual with one of those signs saying that the end is near, blah blah blah. I now believe that these individuals are part of the order, and actually have told one of the individuals that we saw that if they are part of this order, that we needed to speak with them. I'm not sure if or when they will arrive.
Okay. So, if they believe that the end is near, that suggests that they have some knowledge of the rate of energy dissipation in those crystals.
Possible.
Now, the elemental crystals running down should bring about physical cataclysms, because they're dealing with the elements of the world itself, where the life and death crystal only deals with the life within the world. So it's got a metaphysical aspect to it.
Well, if that is true, then perhaps the other crystals, such as, for example, the air crystal, perhaps it is trying to draw power from the plane of air, and that might explain how the portal that brought you here was created.
Could I do an Arcana check on that?
Arcana check to check and see if the fact that the crystals losing power is causing the portals to appear?
Yes.
Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure I had the proper reasoning for the check.
Did that actually go into the check?
I do not see a check that happened.
I tried to roll it and it didn't roll.
Yeah, you have to roll it either in the tower or in the chat window in order for it to show up. You can't roll it just on the flat table.
You can double click it and it'll roll.
So what actually happened is that my character sheet was over the chat window. I picked it up and dropped it, and it wouldn't roll because it was still inside my character sheet.
Gotcha. What you have proposed is very plausible.
I will have
And
to look
the reason that you think it's plausible is because there are certain magical barriers that protect the world from being able to just planeswalk at will. It takes a very specific type of magic to planeswalk. I was about to make a Magic the Gathering joke, but I'm going to forego it. So there are some very specific types of magic that will allow you to planeswalk. And since Toril as a whole is seemingly dying, these magics are waning, which are causing weakness in these magical barriers, which is allowing things to come through more frequently. Which would explain your appearance here, and as Atala said yesterday, the other portals that have been opening up around Faerun.
Okay, so I'm going to turn to Atala and say, so you were talking about all kinds of things that are appearing. Could you look into those reports a little more and see if you can get me a list of what's appearing where?
She reaches over onto a desk that's not too far from the table. She walks over real quick and reaches onto this desk and goes shuffling through some papers, pulls, basically cuts a stack in half, sets it off to the side, and then goes thumbing through this other group of papers, picks them up, hands them to you. Every report that I've received from my scouts across Faerun.
Perfect. Do you have a map?
You're looking at it.
Okay. So I'm going to plot all of the reports on the map in a different color based on the plane of origin of the creature.
Okay. It takes you several hours to do that.
Okay.
And while he is doing that, I turn to Atola. I say, if you would not mind, can we leave you to focus on the city itself while we go and deal with these stones?
She nods. Of course, the city has always been my primary focus.
Thank you. And with that, I turn to Finn, who has been rather quiet. Do you have anything you would like to ask or say at the moment?
You just see Finn's face, like he has no idea what's going on. Out of character, his intelligence is an 8, so all this talk is just like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? So he couldn't, like, once you guys started talking about portals and stones, he's like, he kind of just like,
He zoned out a bit.
more or less. He's like a baby trying to put a square block in a circle hole. When you guys started talking about that, so he's like, he just kind of like, he just like, you can just see in his eyes, he's just waiting to do a mission. Like he doesn't care. Like he just wants to like get out his aggression on something. So he's like, well, just let me know whenever you want to go. So let me know. Like he's airing to get out there and get his mind off stuff.
In the midst of my plotting things down, I will actually turn and suggest that perhaps we might want to get started on getting this first crystal.
Agreed. You continue plotting those. I will take Finn to go and start getting provisions for the journey. Striker, perhaps you would like to stay and speak with Atola. Perhaps you know the city almost as well, at least better than I do.
She smiles at you. I know this city like the back of my hand.
Just saying, perhaps you could get.
And then she looks down at her hands and goes, "Wait, where did that freckle come from?"
Wah, wah. Well, just saying that perhaps you'd like to stay, and since this is your home, you'd like to at least have some knowledge of what is going on the political side, so you can keep a good ear to the ground, so to speak.
Also, if you want to leave a little earlier, as long as I can take these reports with me, I should be able to plot it on the fly.
Oh.
Well, I'm just saying that while you're plotting now, we can go make sure we have all the provisions we need.
Okay.
I pull Striker aside for a moment, and I get a list of everything that she wants as well. And the gold from her to cover it.
Okay. She also mentions, she mentions to you, she goes, I could tell that you are uneasy about putting Thurbin Bramblefoot onto the political stage. She's speaking in Thieves' Cant.
Okay.
But we also have somebody else that we could potentially put onto that political stage. And she... da 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 da. Where did I put my notes? She mentions the dwarf from the other guild, not the one that that gave you guys the contract, but the other one that he wanted assassinated, Maliamar.
Interesting. Wasn't he was the target that that Besherim wanted killed? Why do you think he would be a good candidate for such a well targeted position?
Because I don't think Bachetum was telling us the entire truth.
Well, that was rather obvious. But
And if Malimar split from Bachetum because he didn't like the way that Bachetum was running things, felt that they were going in the wrong direction, perhaps he's actually a man of conviction and worthy to run the Grand Ward.
well, I will have to leave that decision, the ultimate decision, up to you and Miss Atola, as this is your city. You would know its people better than I would. In the end, I can only point out flaws that I can see, and I do not have enough information on this Malamai to give an opinion one way or the other.
She nods, and she says, and of course, I realize that it would make him a bigger target. That while we have the contract, we can keep him protected, but as soon as we put him on the public stage, other people are going to be gunning for him.
Very true. But in the meantime, we should perhaps get this show rolling, as our friend Finn might say.
On a character question before we do this.
Go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't both those candidate choices be really bad? Because wouldn't the Grand Ward people be voted in by the Grand Ward, and the Grand Ward is full of really rich merchants and other political figures? And both those candidates are from the slums or thieves.
If you keep in mind that Thieves Guild, the Thieves Guild, depending on the guild, can actually have a very affluent presence. Yeah. A lot of times the Thieves Guild members can be very, very, very rich. So they could have noble houses, not as a front necessarily, but they could be living in noble houses outside the Thieves Guild.
Okay. Not to mention, a lot of nobles will keep at least one tie to or one or more Thieves Guilds, so that way if they have anything they want done, they can have the guild do it without besmirching their own name.
Yeah, but in that regards, it's an open political position, and you would always pick someone that is in the public eye. Basically, that person is going to be in the public eye consistently.
Oh yeah.
So it should be a person of, for lack of a better term, like noble caliber, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I was confused about the halfling. because he's from the slums and no one really cares much about him. I mean, if he was voting for like some other ward, I could understand it, but for the Grand Ward, I was kind of confused about it.
So, the trick is that we have to make sure that whoever it is, we give them a really good backing to look like they're actually noble. And the thing is that all of these nobles aren't going to pay attention to the people who are in the slums. So they don't really know. As soon as they show up and they've got something solid behind them, then suddenly they are noble. Because
to a certain degree, my only thing that I would say to that is the requirements of 10 years in Kalimport. So if you were there for 10 years, you would have been known within those 10 years.
By the same token, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously we're not playing from the storybooks, but
yeah.
the Forgotten Realms stories always show Kalimport as they don't really care where you're from. They care about what you've done recently and how you got to where you are.
Right.
So if he shows up, his debts are paid, he has a good business running, and he's shown, like within the last year and a half, that maybe he does have a good head for business on his shoulders, then they'll sort of overlook the fact that he was, in the slaves' ward for so long.
In Kalimport, they are very materialistic. They are very greedy. It is very cutthroat. I mean, really, I know I've made several references throughout this campaign so far to the Disney Aladdin movie. That is very much the atmosphere of Kalimport at this juncture. Like the early portion of the movie where Aladdin is out street ratting and just trying to get by and make his living. That is very much the atmosphere of Kalimport.
Right. So they'll just disregard the whole tenure requirement. Okay.
Oh, not the tenure requirement, because he has been a citizen of Kalimport. Mm-hmm. That's the tenure requirement. He's been a citizen. They'll just overlook the fact that his citizenship is, I was in the slave ward, bottom rung of the economy for a while. Right.
Especially if you guys are able to somehow elevate him, get rid of his debts, and elevate him up to a higher portion of society. So if you guys go after getting Thurbin Bramblefoot elected, It's a Hard Knock Life is going to be playing in the background of that montage.
Oh God!
Just so you know. And now it's all stuck in your heads. Yes.
No, actually,
mission accomplished.
No, you failed with me, because instead of going with Hard Knock Life, knowing it would have gotten stuck in my head, I switched over to the old Snickers jingle. Happy peanuts soar over chocolate-covered mountaintops and waterfalls of caramel.
Wow, I'm not sure that I know that one, and I like Snickers.
It's from like 2006 to 2008.
You just creeped me the hell out, because I didn't think of Snickers, I just thought of Willy Wonka, and that's just creepy.
Well,
sounds like something Oompa Loompa would have sung, so I was like, oh my god. Oompa.
I'm thinking that maybe we should actually take him with us on some of
What
our...
the hell was that?
Sorry, my neighbor has a really loud car, and I have my window open.
It sounded like semi-truck Jake brakes for a second.
Or someone was skydiving or something.
Sorry
what's
about
up?
that, guys.
So I'm thinking we might want to actually take him on some of our missions with us, so that he can actually get some gold and also learn a little bit about what it really takes to live a good life.
German Bramble? What is his name? That short guy?
Urban Bramblefoot.
Yeah, not the really important stuff. Just the, side stuff that we do to get money for ourselves.
In character, though, I think he was a safe, the short guy. Okay. I don't know. I mean, is he, like, battle tested? Just out of character? I don't know.
Probably not.
You know.
So he'll get smacked around a bit till he figures out what to do.
What if he does?
You guys get the feeling that a few years ago he may have been actually a more hardy competitor than he is now. Because he is in the slaves ward, and those people are downtrodden, they're not much of a challenge, but seasoned adventurers that are actually out doing this for a living can wipe the floor with him. But years ago, he may have been better competition.
Not so much now.
And he'll be surrounded by us. We can keep him alive.
We're not taking him to look for the crystals.
No, not saying that.
Well,
there's always little.
But that's what we're heading towards, isn't it?
That is our first stop, so we need to take care of that first, and then we'll find something that we can take him on if it is still an issue when we return from getting the crystal. For now, let us go, as Draco would put it, let us go shopping.
Okay.
Shopping montage.
So,
And I made sure that I left the out. We'll have to talk with Anne later to get the full list of what it is she's wanting.
right, yeah, and I will.
I honestly don't really have anything to buy, but foods related stuff. 'Cause I'm poor as shit.
Alright, I drag Finn with me as we go shopping.
Woo! Out of character, I don't think anyone has like a water or food type of spell, right?
You can get Hero's Feast at 5th level, I believe, Finn.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm talking more like as far as like daily rations
Food
and all that stuff.
I have an awesome spell for hunting.
Okay.
Locate animals or plants.
Okay. I'm just
And
worried
we're
because
in the
we're
middle of
crossing
the
the
desert.
desert. Yeah, we're crossing from that point to that point. I'm assuming that's a couple days, couple weeks maybe.
It depends on how we go.
Yeah.
Let me pull the map up here again. Where is
It's a straight shot walk unless there's a boat that goes from. Actually, there's nowhere to drop off really, unless we get a boat that goes from Caliport all the way to Riven. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Let me see where you're talking about here. So, let's see.
Right next
Faerun.
to Spider Swamp. There's a city. It looks like.
Whoops.
So how long of a flight is it?
Almraven.
Maybe.
Let's see. That
That would drop
is...
us right at the swamp.
Is that like an inch is 480 miles?
Is that a straight shot from Caliport to Spider
Hold on.
Swamp? Oh, there's a mile.
So if you're going straight, yeah, you're.
Hold on. DM is getting crafty here. And it's actually working.
You're gonna drag the line down to the key, aren't you?
You're just under 480 miles.
Yeah, if you're talking a straight shot, that's going to be like a couple 10-day.
What I can't remember what is the common average like miles per day travel?
I can look that up in the DMG. Give me just a second. I wish that they had the DMG in Fantasy Grounds. I really do. It would make some of this stuff so much easier.
So I know that a movement rate of 30 gives you 3.5 miles per hour.
That's true. But are we going to be moving at that speed the whole time, especially through a desert?
If you guys are mounted, you can actually travel faster than that. I know all of this stuff is in Chapter 9, so give me just a second.
Okay.
The thing is, I know where to find the information within the DMG.
I'm sure John's in the same boat as I am. We're both pretty poor, I'm assuming.
Well, I am a monk.
I'm really poor too. I have no.
I came without my monies.
Oops, it's not actually in Chapter 9. It is in... Oh, goodness, where is it? It's in the Encounters section.
So technically speaking, it'll save us in days, I think. We don't have to worry about food and water if we take a boat.
Yeah, we are. That is one of the things we're going to be looking for, checking out while we're shopping, is how much it would cost for a ship ride from Hellenport to Almraven.
Okay. Let me see here.
I don't think 5e has it, does it? Because I know in like Pathfinder or 3.5 they had create water cantrips. But I guess Pathfinder might not have it.
You should have those in 5th edition. Typically that's like cleric and paladin spells.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I might have access to those, but well, okay, are you asking all of this in character?
I mean, I would at some point before we leave, because we were going to go buy provisions.
So, all of my cantrips are from the evocation school.
Oh, okay.
And those are from the conjuration. Yes. But all of my higher level spells are from almost anything except the conjuration, because they're all
Hey guys, I gotta take care of something real quick. I gotta mute myself, so I'll be right back.
Go for it. Go for it.
So, see, when I got pulled out, I had my research book instead of my actual spell book. So, all of the spells that I have right now are my ritual spells.
Okay.
And there's very, very, very few ritual evocations.
Makes sense. And anyways, it wouldn't matter. I can't believe it, but in this edition, it's a freaking 3rd level spell. What the frick? That is ridiculous. It went from a cantrip to a 3rd level spell. Wow.
Well, I mean,
how much water does it create? Finn, how much water does it create?
The 5e?
Yeah.
45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water.
That's worthy of a 3rd level spell. That's quite a bit of food and water.
Yeah.
And the ability to instantly drown someone.
I wouldn't say that. unless they're in a container or something.
No. Stick a cloth in someone's mouth and
waterboard them.
Yeah. Water. That's effed up. You're a messed up bird. Messed up bird. I want to see if you could breathe underwater. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like the other editions, it's not as much, but you can constantly cast it over and over again. There's no limit. That's so weird, though. All right, that means we do have to buy provisions if we do trek it.
Or we can hunt.
The water thing is my main concern, because if we go trek it, it's a desert. There's not going to be anything. I doubt we'll find out an oasis or anything like that. Like rations, I'm not concerned about because they're all dried foods and you can buy a bunch of them. But it's the water.
Yeah, water's an issue.
Dang. And you could fly though, right?
Although, so the plants in the desert they store a lot of water.
True.
So if
Oh,
I
wait.
just find the plants, then
I'm
we're
actually
good to go.
wrong. Oopsie. So there's actually two spells. The third level spell is create water and food. There's a first level spell just to create water. Oops.
Okay, yeah, I thought that there was a first level spell just for create water. Yeah.
Yeah, it's create or destroy water first level.
And is it a cleric spell, like cleric and?
Cleric and druid, and let me see if there's anyone else that could do it.
Is it a ritual spell?
Let me check. I don't think it is. No ritual.
Okay.
Boo.
I'm getting closer to the travel spots here, travel distances that you guys can cover per day.
At least one of the material components of this spell is so easy. If you want to destroy water, all you need is a few grains of sand. We're in the desert. I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
Crossing.
Yeah, because if we trek it, we're probably gonna have to get some sort of animal to pull out, because we're gonna need a lot of supplies, and I don't think we can carry it all. Because I don't think any of us have bags of holding or anything like that.
You do not.
Yep. So we have to get a camel, because we know there's camels teleport, definitely.
Yep. In fact, that was the party's first encounter.
Yep. Camels.
Alright. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Yeah, we'll call this a short break, I guess. While I'm looking for what I need. Figures I've run into it like 15 times before, and now that I need it, I can't find it again.
Oh well. Do you? Don't have any. I don't even think Quinn had that spell. Not that you- Actually, should be in here, honestly. Oh, there it is. Ah, it is. In the player's handbook, there is actually cost for vehicles and mounts and travel.
Alright, I'm back.
Yep. Holy mother! That has to be how much it costs to purchase one.
The galleon,
The camel.
25,000.
The galleon, yeah. There's
I think
that.
galleons are like 25,000 gold pieces.
A camel is 50 gold. So I'm assuming that's to purchase, not to.
That is to purchase. Yeah, that is to purchase.
Yeah, they don't have actually any rental prices. Actually, unless they say.
Let's try page.
Camels move at 50 foot. 420, 80 pounds.
Here we go. Now I'm starting to get closer.
Oh, there we go. services. 1 silver per mile. Coach camp, hiring messenger.
You know what? I think I know where I saw it, and I think it was on my DM screen. And
Yeah, I just found a very generic one in a player's handbook. Very condensed.
let's see, DM screen. Aha! Let's take a look at you real quick. How far can you guys travel in a day?
Oh my
Travel pace. Yes, I found it. All right. And you know what's funny? I actually put all of these tables into the. Actually, I didn't put all of these tables into the DMG or into Fantasy Grounds. I meant to. I put a lot of them in.
Oh.
Okay, so you guys in a day can travel about 30 miles at a fast pace.
Oh god.
Now, if I were to just do a straight flight with a movement of 50, would that be faster?
That would be slightly faster, but not by much.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still have to rest.
Alright, I do apologize. I am back.
That is 16 days of travel, basically.
That's at a fast pace. Normal pace is 24 miles per day.
That would be 20 days of travel. And I just calculated the cost. If you, I know it's way more than 480 because you have to go around, but I'm just going off 480 for a boat trip to that city to city. That would be 48 gold per person. Because according to the player's handbook, a ship passage is 1 silver per mile.
However, that's also not taking into account us working on the ship.
Yeah, but just that cost alone is really high. That's ridiculous.
But if we work the ship, it'll bring it down.
Hopefully a lot, because I don't even have 10. I have less than 10 gold.
I have 5 silver.
I have 9. I think I have 8 gold or 9 gold. I can't remember.
I can certainly offer all
Yeah, I have
kinds
8 gold.
of magic to them. I've got lots of useful magic.
If we work at ship hands, you mean?
Yeah.
Quark, do you happen to have control wind?
Oh.
Not at the moment. Unfortunately, right now, what I have is my cantrips that are evocation, and everything else is ritual.
So a lot of things that go boom, or a lot of things that take time.
So, I'm actually an evocation expert, but my personal book wasn't with me. I had my research book, and this is the stuff I'm researching.
Have we left to actually go shopping yet?
Nope.
No, but
It's been
that
sitting
is that is on the that is what's happening now. You guys are out to go shopping.
Okay. So, while we're out, one of the things that I'm going to stop by and look at is for a magic shop.
Oh.
I'm going to see if there is, since this is a port city, I'm fairly certain that there is a wizard or sorcerer that knows the spell Control Wind or something similar, and see how much it would be to purchase, not the use of the spell itself.
Like a scroll.
So, not necessarily a scroll, but something that Quark could then copy into his spellbook.
Well, if he could purchase the scroll, and with the way that a scroll works, you can purchase the scroll, and you can either one time use the spell off of the scroll, which would then cause the page to go blank, essentially, once that magic is lost, or he could copy the spell. It's like 20 minutes per level of the spell or something to copy it into his spell book, and then he would have that spell learned. And he could repeat use of it.
Yep.
Provided
Or
he
are you looking to hire the magic user to actually teach me? Because that usually requires membership to a magic guild.
Yeah, but I don't know this. I'm not.
Yeah.
The only thing I have is because of my shadow arts. I have minor illusion as a cantrip without costing materials. That's all I've got. So
And
beyond that, it's out of my league. So my thought would be get him the scroll, allow him to copy it into a spell book, and then he could earn his wages by giving us fair wins.
That's true.
Which would also speed, time-wise at least, the journey.
Oh, but we also have the Pasha's letter, though. So we could technically maybe show it at the port.
If we were to take over a military vessel.
Guys, real quick, chat is telling us that we've got a real bad mic static. I'm not sure who it's coming from.
Okay.
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything either.
We could try muting one at a time, and if chat tells us, we wait 30 seconds and chat tells us, yes, it's gone, then we'll know who the culprit is.
Okay, I'll go ahead and mute mine.
Okay, I guess they're saying that it's not as bad now. It was a while ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Let us know, chat, if it picks up again, and we'll do what we can to try and resolve it. Figure out who the culprit is, because we love you guys, and we don't want you to have to suffer through our games.
We'd rather you enjoyed them.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so you are looking for a magic shop, Akiva?
Yes.
Or Adron, rather. Sorry.
I answered to either.
Yeah, I try to use character names throughout the game, though, wherever possible. Okay, so you are able to find a magic shop near the port, in with the. Let me pull up the map of Calimport here. Up in the, I can't remember exactly the name of the ward. It's the. It is the. The dock ward. Makes sense, right?
Make it easy.
So yeah, you are able to find a magic shop along in with the dock ward.
Okay, so I go in.
I walk in as well.
Okay, and you are greeted by a wizard wearing a dark purple robe. He's got very olive complexion. His beard is still very dark and very full. And he has he's actually bald.
I see secret rolls going on. I have
A lot of secret.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just NPC generation. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking. I thought the rolls were safer, lucky enough to find what you want.
No, this is just NPC creation. That's one of the things that I did actually pull over from my Dungeon Master screen, which is very nice.
Nice.
That's actually how you guys got Bachetum and Malimar a couple weeks ago.
Get to punch that NPC generator.
Okay, so this wizard greets you.
Oh god, please don't be a bad long name. Please don't be a long name.
I have not rolled for his name yet.
Okay.
And he looks at you. Yeah, can I help you?
Oh,
I'm
so
wondering if you have a scroll of control wind available for sale.
Yeah, I got it. How much you got for it?
Well, usually you tell me how much you want for it, I tell you how much I'm willing to pay, but how much I got for it depends on how much you value aiding the general's ire in his business, in the Pasha's business.
Just looking at you when I said how much you got for it makes me think you can't afford it.
Oh.
I don't think you quite understand. And I show him the letter that says that I have the Pasha behind me. Now, how much are you wanting for it?
Helping the Pasha, huh? Yeah, I suppose. What level is Control Wind?
I can't find it, honestly.
Yeah, I have not found a spell called Control Wind.
I found control water and control weather.
Is there one for elements? I guess Control Weather would work. What level is Control Weather?
It's a level 8.
Okay.
Keep in mind,
control.
Adron doesn't know about the whole wizard
I know
how they work and all that. So
I know.
There
Other
is
character, I'm just looking for.
Gust of Wind,
Oh, is there?
which is a level 2 evocation.
That part. How long does it last?
Line
I'm
of
looking
strong
it up
wind,
right now.
60 feet long. Concentration up to 1 minute.
Yeah, that would be like huffing and puffing a paper boat across the table.
Actually, unless is there ones from different editions that you might allow to get transferred over to this edition? I don't know if there is. I don't know.
There's ways to adapt them. Let me take a look at.
Might be something in Elemental Evil.
And there's nothing in Sword Coast. And there's definitely not anything in Out of the Abyss. And those are the only books that I have in front of me currently.
I will check Elemental Evil.
So he looks at
Elemental Evil, Control Wind. Sorry, 5th level.
he looks at you. So Control Wind is an Elemental Evil.
Yeah, it's only up to an hour though. Concentration up to an hour.
And what type of wind does it create? What speeds?
Let's see, if you do as a gust, let's see. The wind is of moderate, strong, or strong. It doesn't give the actual speed. Let me see. No, doesn't give the actual speed of the wind. It gives a range, 300 feet, but you control the air in a 100-foot cube. And you can either do a gust, downdraft, or updraft. Oh, no, never mind. You choose the intensity of the wind. Calm, moderate, or strong. There you go.
Okay, so strong is going to be like gale force up into hurricane winds. Moderate would be
Moderate is fine.
like between like 30 miles an hour or something.
Moderate would
And
be
then
ideal for
light
battle.
would be up, right, and then like your light winds would be up to probably less than 10 miles an hour.
It's like a little breeze.
Yeah, and I can get it would also mean that I could get 100 square foot section of sail and control the wind at it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so this wizard actually, he sets down a wand on the table,
Oh.
and
Ask for a
I know you did. I know you did. This is what I happen to have. And he sets it down, and you can see carved into the handle, like a runes of wind. I guess like pictographs more than runes, of wind, and then there's some other arcane symbols around the handle of the wand. And he goes, "This is a wand of control wind. It's got 10 charges. I'm willing to part with it, since you're a member of the General's Ire, and you're being backed by the Pasha. I'm willing to let it go for 300 gold."
How about I give you 20 gold plus a share of the spoils when we return? That could very well be several thousand gold.
Roll a persuasion check.
Not my best skill there, but okay. You want me to... Yeah, just roll it open, Mike.
You can roll it open, it's fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. He looks at you, kind of. Go ahead and roll again. You do have advantage, probably because of the letter.
That's at least a little better.
That's a little better. He looks like he's hemming and hawing for a second. You're gonna have to do better on the down payment. For all I know, you could die with whatever it is you're looking for. And then I'm out a decent magic item.
I guess that's when I step in. Like, but you know, we like my comrade here told you, we're hand selected by the Pasha. That should give you the acknowledgement of our skills, and so there should be no ifs, ands, or buts about us not returning.
Your turn,
So
persuasion.
you should. Ooh. What? Wait, why is it?
Wow,
red?
he rolled exactly
Oh,
the same. He rolled exactly the same as last time.
It could
Why
be
did I get
worse.
disadvantage on that, bro? Did someone else look?
Did you click disadvantage down on the bar on accident?
Oh, yeah, he may have.
I don't think so. I just dragged it from my sheet, unless I had it.
You may have had it pre-selected.
Oh, no,
Or
he's
something.
you still do you check his status. I think you still have him as intoxicated.
Oh,
Oh!
hold on. Let me remedy that.
I don't know how to get rid of that.
I can get rid of it
the
for you.
DM has to get rid of it.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, why am I at this?
Okay.
For a second there, I thought I rolled an @1 because I saw red die. I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay, so he's like, look, I'm trying to work with you here. I tell you what, I'll give you the item, no questions asked, if you can do something for me.
As long as it is completely legal, we have no problems.
Oh, it's perfectly legal, I assure you. I assure you. And he leans in, puts his elbow on the counter, and he leans in, and he looks you square in the eye, Adron, and goes, there's this girl over at the Hydra's Head bar. And he exhales deeply. Her name is Brandy. And she is the prettiest girl that I have ever seen. But the sailors always come into the bar and they're trying to get her to go with them. I've been pining after this girl for years. But because I spend the majority of my life in a book, it's the nature of being a wizard, I can't talk to her. So I need you to put in a good word for me with her.
I believe
And I will give you the wand.
I believe I know how to deal with this. We shall be back.
Okay.
And time to head
What's
over.
his name? But what's his name though? We never got his name.
Let me see. Let's generate his name.
Purple.
Because unless we just go. There's a wizard. This creepy wizard that wants to.
Alright, his name is... What
Oh,
a
God.
funky name for a wizard.
It's gonna be a long ass name, isn't it?
No, it's not bad, but his name is Kissarker.
Sarker.
Which kind of makes sense, because he's trying to kiss ass with this girl, so he's a
Yep.
Kissarker.
All right. So we head over to the tavern.
Okay, so you guys get to the tavern, the Hydra's Head, and actually, Wheels, so you know, this is a newly established chain bar from the one that's in the Rim and the Midwood. So, yeah, this is a chain establishment.
Oh God.
You guys go to the Hydra's Head, and you see outside on the board the actual taxidermied head of a Hydra stuffed and mounted on a giant board outside. When you walk inside, above the mantle over the fireplace, is another stuffed and mounted Hydra head.
Oh God.
Impressive.
Little tacky for my taste, but
Well, you still have to admit they killed 2 hydras to get them.
true. Touche.
All right. So looking around,
Scanning around, yeah. Do we see a barmaid or anything nearby? Or someone?
Yes, and she's wearing the finest silver from the north of Spain.
Ooh.
Spain. Spain and Faerun.
It's on the Sword Coast somewhere.
Is that just a description of a barmaid we see, or her?
That's actually her.
Oh.
I'm pulling it from the song Brandy.
Okay.
That's where I thought you were going with that, but I didn't want to come out right out and say it.
I'm a goofball, and this is the way my mind works. So, that, and it made it really easy because you guys are down in the docks district. So,
Yeah.
Is she tending bar or tending people?
she's actually attending to several of the Zero Hit Combo says it's Spain, Spaen, different place.
Nice and 0.
So yeah, she's attending to various people throughout the bar.
Okay. Let's see. So our just out of character, our main goal is just to put a good word, not to get her to come back. Is that what it is?
From what I understood, I'm going to go so far as to try to get her to agree to at least one date with him.
Oh, okay.
That's nothing more than her attending dinner with him. That's all.
Okay.
That's my goal.
Okay. Yeah, and that is entirely fair because he made it abundantly clear that he has been trying to make his interest known to her for a long time and can't figure out how to do it appropriately.
Especially when she's always surrounded by sailors.
Right. That are always vying for her attention.
So safe to say, she's the most attractive woman in the tavern, or at least from the employees.
She is a woman in a tavern on the docks. That's
Full
all
of
that needs
slayers.
to be said.
Full of sailors. Okay.
Exactly.
Right, and they're out at sea for months at a time lately. So,
Okay. So where is she now? She's just attending. She's
attending to her patrons. You know, I mean, she's got a tray of mugs of ale and stuff, and she's delivering these mugs of ale. And when she's empty, she returns back to the bar. You know, it takes her maybe like 2 minutes or so to get back to the bar after you see this round of drinks that she has on her tray. Currently, as you come walking in, it takes her about 2 to 3 minutes to get rid of this round of drinks, and then she comes back to the bar.
Is there also a bartender, or is it just her?
There's also a bartender.
Is there a table that's in the vicinity of where she's attending to that's open?
Yeah, there's an open table.
Okay, I go to the bar to talk to the bartender.
Okay. I go to the open table.
Okay. So let's see. For the bartender.
Oh god. See generation now.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Butt kisser? Butt artser?
Oh, this is perfect. I can't. Oh, I love this NPC generation thing.
Oh god.
Okay, so you walk up to the bartender, and he looks at you, half orc but fairly short for his size. You know, for half orc size, which would probably actually put him closer to like an elf or a human size. Not so he got more of his non-orc parent than he did from his orcish parent.
Either that, or his his non-orc parent was a dwarf, and therefore he's a dork.
Wow.
That's awesome. And that is spelled DWORK.
Yep.
So you walk up and he grins, smiling at you. Ah, a new patron. I'm glad you're here now to drink, because the word is that there's a powerful storm gonna blow through and kill us all.
That is still several years away.
Oh, no. It's coming now. I've looked outside just a few minutes ago, and I saw it. It's coming now. But,
What you are seeing is just a simple ripple on the waves. But for now, and I slap down, 2 silver pieces. If I could get ale and a little bit of information.
Information?
Yes.
Oh, this isn't gonna go well. Alright, go ahead.
Your barmaid there, Brandy, I believe her name is.
Oh, Brandy. And you see hearts start floating up out of his eyes.
I slowly push them back into his eyes. Calm down there, my friend. Calm down there, my friend.
Oh, but Brandy. Oh, she's so dreamy.
Yes, but, does she often leave with any of the patrons? Just curiosity.
She doesn't often leave with any of the patrons, and he leans in real close. Truth told, I wish she'd leave with me, but it's a bit forbidden, employee relations and Brandy.
At least you have a beautiful co-worker employee.
Yeah, I can look at her anytime I want. It's pretty great. But it's all gonna end soon when the earthquake strikes, and not to mention that bad storm.
Yes, but in the meantime, does Brandy have a particular type of person that she's looking for?
The ones that Brandy seems to really enjoy the most are the strong muscular types.
So the ones that are here for a bit of fun and not much more, but have the stamina to go all night.
Right. And I've seen some guys with some pretty big muscles come through here, and she seems to really enjoy those. But I've talked to Brandy quite a bit, and Brandy. I'm sorry. But she also seems to like, well, the strong silent type.
I see. Well, thank you. If you don't mind the ale. And once he hands me the cup of ale.
Right. Yeah, he serves it up, and he goes, I really hope you don't drown on that ale.
I don't think that will be a problem. Thank you.
But I can see it in my mind. It's like it's coming soon. You're gonna drown on that ale.
I think I understand what you mean, my friend, but do not worry. It will not come to that. And I take it to the table.
Okay. So that was the bartender who was prone to predictions of certain doom.
The dork of certain doom.
I like him a lot. Okay, so you go sit back down with Finn. And about the time that you sit down with your mug of ale, Brandy actually shows up.
I look at her, and just kind of like get up, get up a little bit, to say, you must be Brandy, huh?
So you're like kind of leaning in to whisper to her, or
Oh no, just getting up a little. Like a lady walked to the table, so I just got up. It's like,
oh, okay. She looks at you cautiously. Yeah, I'm Brandy.
I just say to her, I must say, when my friend told me about your grace and beauty.
Oh, here we go again.
Ignore him. I have something I wish to discuss with you, if you do not mind.
Okay, what is it?
I am part of a group called the General's Ire. We have been given a mission by the Pasha. In order to complete this mission, we need a certain item. In order to get the item, I need you to suffer through a specific dinner. One. Just one. Which you will be compensated for if you are willing. Just the dinner, nothing more.
Dinner with whom?
You may know him as Kisarker.
Kisarker.
A rather
Wait.
powerful mage.
I know Kisarker. He comes in here frequently. Sits in the back corner with this giant book. I can only imagine how he's able to lift such a book. But he just sits in the back poring over his book and mugs of ale. He's a good customer.
He has... I'm going to be very honest with you and very blunt. Please do not get upset. But he has a little bit of a thing for you. And he is the one who is holding this item that I need.
By the sandy shores of Silvery Moon, I knew it!
I take it the interest is not fully unrequited?
No, but I'm always hit on by the sailors here, as you may have heard. And
Indeed.
their advances aren't necessarily welcome, but I accept their advances so that there's no trouble. And they hit on me, they give me gifts, you know. It works out probably the better for me than it does for them. I try not to lead anybody on, but it's hard.
Well, perhaps I may be able to help both of you out. I'll still compensate you for your time for the dinner. But if I may take you over to talk to the bartender for a moment, we could possibly take a few minutes, and this wizard could perhaps ask you to dinner himself.
Okay, and she's like her hand, the hand that is not holding onto her tray. She's got it tucked in between like her elbow and her fingers. Holding it like a discus almost.
Mm-hmm.
The hand that is not holding her tray is visibly starting to shake a little bit.
If necessary, I can do the talking for both of you. And believe me, it will take some time. It will be uncomfortable at first, I guarantee it. Unfortunately, it is always so in any relationship. I'm sure you are aware of these. But
She nods. She's biting her lower lip, chewing on it a little bit.
But given time, I do believe that you and Kisar might perhaps get along better than you and any of these sailors would. And in doing so, not only would you have the protection of a quite powerful wizard, but you would also be able to show all of these others that you are a married woman spoken for, that they cannot have you, and therefore the advances would lessen.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go talk to the my boss.
Yes, just to get his permission for you to leave for just a few moments.
Okay. And she now takes the tray and her other hand and like clasps them in front of her, and she's like deer in headlights terrified.
Okay, so I go over to the dork, and I sit down. I ask him for. Go up and
He comes back over to you and he greets you. Ah, very good. I'm glad to see that you didn't drown in your ale. Ah, very good.
I was hoping that I may borrow Miss Brandy here for just a few minutes. She has a business proposition that may increase, perhaps, the business of your bar as well, depending on how the business proposition goes. But she is the one who needs to make the final call on it, as I cannot speak for her.
He looks at Brandy. Is this true, Brandy? Is this okay with you? You're not being forced into this or anything? And he reaches underneath the bar. You see him like reach underneath the bar and grab something. You're not sure what, but probably a weapon of some sort.
And I place my hands flat on the bar and lean back slightly so that if he wants to cut my hands off or whatever, he'll have free access to. So he knows that I'm not trying to force Brandy into anything.
Brandy nods to him. She's like, "Oh no, not being forced. Not at all. Just excited and nervous, sir." All right then. Well, if she's along with it, you go take care of what you need to do. Anything to improve the business of the Hydra's head is welcome.
Excellent. Thank you much, sir. And because this is in the middle of her normal working night, here's a gold to compensate for any loss of services you may be able to provide.
It's okay. For the time being, I'll have people just come up to the bar and get their drinks when they enter. It shouldn't be any big loss. You look like you need the gold more than I do.
You are very generous, sir. Here, have a second gold and keep it.
Okay. And he grabs both of them.
Okay, so then we take her down to
Kasarker.
Yeah, Kasarker.
Okay, so, you walk back. I mean, it's only a couple minutes later, like 10, 15 minutes later, from the time that you initially took Brandy, or, talked to her initially and then came back. And, when you bring her back in and Kasarker lays eyes on her, he goes bright red. Normally that color wouldn't show up with his olive complexion, but he almost flushes pale white and then he blushes hard.
Guys, I'm sorry to cut this extremely short, but I need to take my wife to the hospital, so I'm not going to be able to broadcast. So
okay.
I have to go. I'm sorry for everybody at home watching this. I got a bit of a medical emergency, so
Okay. I hope everything's all right. We'll see you next week.
yeah. Sorry.